What's going on there, fellow YouTubers? It's Chris back with you guys. I know it's been a while. I hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving. You know, family came to visit, so on and so forth. Everybody was safe. I don't know about you guys, but I'd probably have to walk about 300 miles just to burn it off. The meal I had was a great meal. Couldn't ask for anything more, so I hope everybody had a good one. I know I did. Okay, guys, I've got a cool one for you guys, and I need your input on this. I think you're going to like this or not. This one, I think you're guys really going to like this one. This is planet Mercury. Now, we all know that's the closest planet to the sun, and I believe the smallest, but I want to show you something right here. Let's have a look at it. This is the photo we're going to be looking at. In fact, I had one of my subscribers write to me on Facebook saying, hey, Chris, his name's Robert Rice, and thank you, Robert, for that. I appreciate that, because, let me just set this over here, because he said, you need to look at this thing. It looks like some kind of weird cylindrical objects. Now, I did see what he was talking about, but what I found out on this this particular photo is fantastic. What you guys can do is download this TIFF right here, and you can see it's a little over 5.5 megs. Doesn't take very long. You're talking seconds, you know, depending on what you got for an internet connection. But anyway, you don't have to do a thing to this photo. Now, I did the docking and bring down the brighter spots in this photo because, as we all know, NASA loves to do that. They love to just make everything, if it's white in color or light, they love to just totally contrast it where everything, you couldn't see the shape of whatever these objects are, and that's where they get you. But I'm going to tell you right now, what's on this planet is phenomenal. And again, I want your take on it. I'm going to tell you what I think it is, and I want your take on it. Now, you can see what it shows right here, and of course, this was date acquired, October 24, 2013. So it is a few years ago, of course. You know, the Messenger spacecraft is the first ever to orbit the planet Mercury, and the spacecraft's 7 scientific instruments and radio science investigation are unraveling the history and evolution of the solar system's innermost planet. Messenger acquired over 150,000 images and extensive other data sets. Messenger is capable of continuing orbital operations, until early 2015. Now, what's funny about this thing, I'm going to show you something. This is pretty cool. It does say right here, it says this image was acquired as a target high-resolution 11-color image set. Acquiring 11 color targets is a new campaign that began in March 2013 and that utilizes all of the WAC's 11 narrow-band color filters. Now, check this out. Because of the large data volume involved, only features of special scientific interest are targeted for imaging in all 11 colors. So you're not seeing the full all colors. Check that out. So, which means things can be hidden because, let's say there's some greens in it. Well, you're not going to see that. So, anyway, so let's jump to here. We can go to space.com, and I love the way they acknowledge this, because check this out. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. As such, it circles the sun faster than all of the other planets, which is why Romans named it after their swift-footed messenger god, which, if you remember correctly, has what looks like wings on his ankles on his boots. Also, check this out. The Sumerians also knew of Mercury since at least 5,000 years ago. It was often associated with Nabu, the god of writing. Mercury was also given separate names for its appearance as both a morning star and as an evening star. And, okay, so we got that. Now, here's the funny part, and people are going to say, Chris, there's no way life could be on this planet. It's insane. And if you read it, it says, because the planet is so close to the sun, Mercury's surface temperature can reach a scorching 840 degrees Fahrenheit or 450 degrees Celsius. However, since this world doesn't have a real atmosphere to entrap any heat, at night the temperatures can plummet to minus 275 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 170 degrees Celsius. A temperature swing of more than 1,100 degrees Fahrenheit or 600 degrees Celsius, the greatest in the solar system. Now, with that being said, if you do more homework and you check it out, there is actually polar caps. There's actually ice on Mercury. People go, I'm confused. How is this possible? With the temperatures on this planet, there's no way in hell. Yeah, there is way in hell. It's almost like the Goldilocks zone. Instead of being a planet being in a Goldilocks like Earth and Mars, it's like a certain sweet spot, if you will, on the planet. You and I could walk around near the polar caps. But between the polar caps and the hottest area is the Goldilocks zone. That is the area that is most habitable. Now, and you guys can look this up. I'm not going to BS you guys. check this out yourself. Now, of course, it goes into a lot more here. You know, it tells you that I think it's 160 days it takes to, 116 days, I think it's, or hours. I forget what it is now. It's got me confused. I've got so many numbers in my head, it's pathetic. But anyway, you can read up on it. It's pretty cool. You guys will like this. Now, with that in mind, like I said, you guys can take this photo and don't do a thing to it. But get your magnifiers out because you're going to love this. Now, I believe that there's two things I'm going to show you. One, this is intelligently made and they look like towers, and like a tubular tower, if you will. And I don't mean like a radio tower type thing. I mean something that comes up like almost like a tube itself, but narrows near the top, like almost like a stretched out, you know, not as wide based pyramid, if you will, sticking right up, but what looks like it has a white spot at the top. But what's more crazy about it, it has what look like little white structures, or at least lighter colored structures all around the base of some of these. Now, is it possible it's intelligent structures, or is it very narrow volcanic vents? You guys be the judge. But when you see this, I want you to give me your honest opinion, because now this is going to break apart a little bit, but I'm going to show you this. It's there. There's four. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towers sitting right in a bunch. One of them, you'd go, oh, Chris, well, you're just seeing things, not a big deal. It's probably nothing. It's just probably just a rock formation. But all of these are basically the same width, but some of them are a lot shorter, some of them are taller. Now, with that in mind, that being said, I want to show you guys something. Where did it show it? If it is, I believe it is here, I think, and I could be wrong. It's either this or the other page. We're going to see this in a second. No, I believe it's the NASA one. Okay, this is what's funny. Look at 260 meters per pixel. Okay, let's go jump over. Let's just go to the conversion chart. It's 853 feet per pixel. Okay, and it also says that this crater, or this area that they're showing, at least one of the craters, they're saying that it's possible that it's the size of Texas. Okay, so with that being said, this is not some tiny little pixel that we're seeing. These are quite large objects. So, okay, so I want to let you guys, again, download the TIFF, and I'll give you the link to it in the bottom, right here on this NASA JPL site. And you can, download the TIFF, always the TIFF. The JPEGs ain't, they're low res and they suck. So always go with the TIFF, or, any larger, better format is the best one to go for. Okay, so let's jump into this. Now, this is at 50%, I believe, but then I just blew the picture up. Okay, so now, just, again, get either your regular magnifiers out, guys, with the small magnifier right there in the middle. You can see it right there. Right there. Or your eyepieces. I love these more than anything. These are the best. This is here, the 5 times. And, excuse me, just hover over your screen about a ½ inch. Don't even have to go that far. Just barely skim over the top of it. You don't want to scratch the screen or do anything to it, of course. But anyway, just this alone, and I'm going to show you this because it's right here, guys. I mean, you don't even have to look at. There's one here, 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 and all of these little pieces in between. To me, in my mind, these are structures. These are not natural or geological or geological, like natural things on the ground on Mercury. Now, what's crazy about it, the more you get into this photo, and most of this you're going to find is in this area here. It's going to be on the right-hand side of the photo. But what Robert Rice was showing me was that there's like cylindrical objects. Now, I'm not sure if this is what he was talking about. What I told him on my Facebook page is, do yourself a favor. If you have a magnifying glass, go ahead and eyeball it. Now, what I get a kick out of is, you notice this right here, like everything seems to be in a circular area. It seems to be rounded inside these, or on top of these, depending on how you look at it. It could be a mound, it could be a crater. Looks like a crater, this one looks like a mound. Of course, the eye can be fooled, and you think it's either concave or convex. So that's a little tricky. But I don't care about that. What I care about is what I'm seeing in this photo is insane. The stuff that's in this picture is just mind-blowing. Now, have a look at this. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Check these out. Right here. It's got a white top to it, and it's completely, you can see it's got a good height to it. Now, there's one here, one here, one here, which looks like it's the same size as this one here. These look the same. This one here's another one. what's funny about it is all these little pieces in between. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in for the people who have these smaller phones, tablets, so on and so forth. Check these out. They look like they have 1, 2, 3, 4. Look how it looks like it has a corner to this base of this, whatever this is. Now, is this, again, is these like these narrow volcanic vents? Sure, anything's possible. But what I'm going to show you may change your mind if that's what you think it is. Now, again, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, watch this. There's one over here. Check this one out on the left. 1, 2, 3 objects. Now, these have been super brightened up because of they want to highly contrast these things so you can't see an actual shape of these things. You take anything and contrast any picture, it'll bleed. I don't care if it's a color will bleed or the brightness or darkness. Obviously, the darkness won't because it'll make it disappear depending on how dark you make it. But if you overly contrast, whatever it is that's bright will actually bleed and you won't see the actual shape. So now, check this out. This piece here. This is where it gets cool. I'm going to go up here. Now, check this out. This is cool. What area, check this way, it almost looks like the home plate on a baseball field. It's flat here, comes down, and then has this weird diamond shape to it. But look at these, what looks like little round structures surrounding this thing. Now, of course, we are zoomed in, so the quality's starting to break up a little bit, and you will have photo degradation. It will start to come apart, and you're going to start seeing more and more pixels, if you will. So I'm going to back out here a little bit, but I'm going to let you guys see these as I'm going down. But check this out. Right here is one. Here's another, and you can see what looks like objects, like structures, if you will, surrounding it. Now, what kind of geological formations can do that? Or, is it natural? Is it more, or is it more intelligently made? In my mind, it's intelligently made. And again, this part here is the one that blows my mind more than anything, this whole area. There's one smaller right there. If you take your magnifying glass, you can see it there. Then you've got these much larger ones, 1, 2, 3. There's one that looks like this real skinny kind of tower standing straight up. But one here. This large one here. Now, again, there's another one right here, and it has things surrounding it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what they are. They clearly look intelligently made, though. Check these out. Again, 1, 2, 3, these things surrounding these pieces sticking out. Now, there are some. Now, you can see this one here is pretty large, almost has a square base to it. See that? Now, this may be trickery of light. Don't get me wrong on this, guys, because there's no way to vet any of this stuff. But what you'll see is these here. And I'm going to show you guys something I think is pretty cool if I can find it. Check this out. This looks like it's raised off the ground, but look at the shape of it. Like a U-shaped, and then it has a base to it, and it has a shadow. So is this pot here, is this an upper pot, and is something underneath it? Don't know. Maybe because it does get quite warm in this area and they need to be sheltered. I don't know. There's no way of really knowing this. Now, all I can do is just tell you what I think this stuff is, and you guys tell me what you think it is. Now, there's an area right here that clearly looks like there's like 90-degree angles and pieces right there. Now, it is broken apart a little bit due to the fact that I'm zoomed in. And I'm up probably about 200-300% right about now. But check out all these little objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're all kind of bunched up. But what you're not seeing, okay, I'm going to back out just a hair. Now you can check this out with your magnifying glasses. You'll see much more detail. And I'm loving the idea that you guys are jumping more and more on board with this about the magnifiers, the magnifying glasses. Good for you guys. Kudos to you. Because the more people go like this, and I've seen this a lot. Let's say this area I'm trying to convey. This area right here, this is what they do. Wow, well, look at all of those structures. There's no way to see this. It's completely, it's crap. It's absolute garbage. You can't do that. You've got to back out. Now, this is where it starts to, where that grain has gone away, because we're like nothing but pixels now. But let's back out. And you start to see these things a lot clearer. In fact, you can do that yourself purposely. Go like this. Okay, it just looks like garbage. But you can see, people who are on these small phones, you may be able to see this a little bit better. But there's individual pieces surrounding this tower, and it has what looks like a lighter or brighter, maybe dome type thing, or rounded piece, if you will, at the very top of this. Now you can see these 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a smaller one here, and like I said, if you go up, there's another one here, and then have a look at these other pieces right in here. This to me screams intelligently made. The way these are formed around this object. Now, again, when you do this, and you start to back out, it starts to get clearer. Your eyes actually adjust to it a lot better, and you can see the clarity. Now, we're going to jump right into this and start to darken these up a little bit, and then you can have a better look. And I'm going to just jump into the darker one where it's really dark, where I dim out some of these, or I should say dull out the brightness of these things. And you can just have a look, guys. These things are everywhere. Now have a look at these right here in this area. This area right here. What? These things, you can clearly see they're coming off the ground. Now I'm going to zoom back in. Check them out. But they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all the way around this said object, or this tower, if you will. Not sure what it is. I don't even know what the hell it'd even be used for. You would think towers, what the hell would they use a tower for? But again, left-hand side, 1, 2, 3. And of course, these, you can see one, it's like brighter. But these are, my assumption is now, is that they're the same as these dots. The only difference is because they're so contrasted that they bleed together, and you don't see an individual, piece, if you will. Here, it looks like this weird round piece with a dome. But check these out. There's 1, 2. Now, there's another one in here I want to show you guys. It kind of blows your mind because it's the way it's... where is this thing? Maybe you got to back out. Sometimes you just got to back out of these things. Let me see if I can just lighten this back up. There's one in here that absolutely looks like it's wider at the bottom. Actually, the whole thing is wider. I shouldn't say just, one piece. But, and I'm not going to find it now because there's so many of these little things to see in here. But check this stuff out. This is not, you can see one here. It almost looks like a tower standing up right there. Bright piece, and then this long piece coming down. I'm not going to find it now because I want to. But check this out. If you look right here, it looks like this large rectangular structure. And I'm looking at it right now with my eyepiece, and it looks like it's got some height to it. In other words, it's like multi-layered, if you will. And if you look at it, check this thing out. Looks like there's someone, you can't really make out this one, but look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What natural, what naturally does that in nature, if you will? What does that, guys? I don't see it as nature. Now, I'm not saying none of these things are craters. I'm not saying none of these are mounds. I'm not saying none of these are mountains. I'm saying the bits I'm pulling out of this clearly are not natural. And, of course, again, there's no way to vet this because we can't go there and either prove or disprove it. So, again, I want your take on this. Now, let me see if it's, I brought this down as far as the brightness, but check this area out, too, with your magnifier. There's something right here. It's dimmed. Looks like another wide tower. And it has a couple little pieces laying around it. And I'm looking at it right now, but that one's really hard to tell. These, look at this, all inside here. Look at the way to me, in my eyes again, in my mind, these are structures clustered together. Now, again, just bounce over here to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then look at all the areas in between, and you'll see what looks like long, straight pieces connecting to each other, going off in different directions. Not all of it, you won't see all of that because we don't know how tall these things are and how far in the ground the ground usually, how far it goes down. So this may be the reason why it's actually darker, if you will, or it's just a manipulation that they're doing on their part, because even at this, it's still hard to tell, but check these things out. They're right there, and I'm not doing a thing. This photo wasn't even, this particular one was not even manipulated. Check this out. Wasn't enhanced to show anything. It's there. You can see these things as plain as day. What are they, guys? What the hell are they? See them? All right there, sticking clearly out of the ground. And these things must be quite loud. Not loud, long. Or height, if you will. But check that out, man. I'm looking at these things here, even in here, all this area here. Look at the way these smaller white pieces, if you will, look at the way they're laid out on the ground. I don't believe nature's going to do this. And if it is nature doing it, what is so shiny that, one, how are they lined up like that, or circled around, if you will, around these tower-type objects, and what are they that they're super bright? You might say, well, it might be like a salt, because if this isn't a warmer area, chances are it's not ice, but if it's a salt, how is it like deposited perfectly surrounding these towers? These are questions you got to ask yourself. So now, I'm still trying to find this other object, and it's kind of eluding me. But just check out any of these. Let me see. Let me darken this way up again. Darken this photo big time. And I'm not going to find it, but you'll see it anyway. Once you look at this, it's actually wider as opposed to the others. There's actually some kind of weird little tower type thing right there. And like I said, I'm not... Oh, here it is, right there. There it is. Now, when you look at this one, it's a lot wider, but it has this white. Is it on the top, or is it just one of these objects surrounding and we're just seeing over it? That's a good possibility. But again, look at the way these things are laid out. And of course, we are zoomed in. So anybody on the smaller phones, tablets, what have you, you can see this a little better. And like I said, just have a look, man. And here we go. These are all these towers clustered together. Right there. Smaller one right here. And here's the base coming straight up. And it has white on the top of it. A base. See the dark area, and at the top, you can see that it's off the ground. These brighter spots are off the ground, which tells you that this thing has to be pretty tall. Again, with this one, look at the way these things are laid out. I'm just going to back up just a hair bit. In fact, I'm going to, instead of taking a step that way, I'm going to just mess that up. But check them out. Check the way these things are. One, in fact, I'm going to use my magnifier right now. I'm going to back it up even more so. See if we can see more individuality. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then of course you can't see the backside of this, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're all around in their individual parts. What does that naturally? This, in my mind, are intelligent structures. And again, it's not far-fetched to believe, guys, that just because people go, well, it's an extremely hot planet, you don't know what you're talking about. Just go ahead and research it. And when you research it, this could be in the sweet spot between the coldest parts, the polar caps, and the hottest areas, and you get that sweet spot. And it can, and believe it or not, I forget how many days it is to actual make a full revolution, but it's quite long. It's quite long. Now, the orbit is different, and it's a lot faster than the rest of the planets on the outer, because obviously the farther out from the sun, they make a larger orbit around the sun, so they take longer days, or it's longer days to actually go around. So, when you look at this, and I forget exactly how many, I don't know if it's 116 days it takes to actually make a full turn on its axis. So when you check this out, when you actually get into this and research this, you're just going to go, wow, this isn't too far-fetched. This is very easily believable that there could be structures there. Now, I get people telling me, so we've been lied to on a scale we can't even fathom, because clearly there must be life somehow, some way on these planets. Now, whether there's life there now as far as intelligent beings, God only knows. I mean, we just don't know, guys. There's no way of knowing this. But check this thing out, and I think you guys will like this. And again, I'm just going to zoom in on these particular areas. And I'll just go ahead and there's right here. All these little pieces, don't forget to look at those too, because you're going to see, like, some of the brighter areas actually go off into the dark areas, almost like it's either shade, that part of this, whatever this object is partly in the shade, or it's the way NASA or JPL, whoever it is, doctored up this photo. So where it looks like a lot of dark and very little, lighted areas, or half white, or half light, I should say, and half dark. So they have a habit of doing that. Or is it just simply in a lower elevation, and therefore the sun's not hitting it? That's a good possibility. Now, there's no way of knowing that, but you guys can have a good look at this thing, and this to me just blew my mind. This area right here too. It just looks like things the way they're purposely, if you will, laid out. It's not an accident, and neither are any of these things on the lower right here. Well, or the bottom, if you will, because it's not really the right, but it's the right of the photo, as you can see. It should be the bottom right there. So they look purposely laid out and built. This doesn't look like natural, formations, if you will. Just like this piece right here in the upper left right now that I'm circling. That doesn't look natural either. Is it possible? Sure. I don't think any of these, when you look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the way these things are laid out, I don't believe that's natural. Is it possible? Sure. Anything's possible. But when you start looking at this one here, and there's 1, 2, 3 objects, and I believe that they're separate. It looks like these two are separate. You can just barely see a little line. These are actually surrounding the actual structure standing up. There's no other way to say it. But guys, it's not just this area. Just have a look. Get the photo. Just get the photo. Even if you don't want to enhance it, you don't need to. Here's the photo without enhancing a thing, and just eyeball it. You can see that without doing a thing to it. Now, if you guys do have Photoshop, have at it. Go to it and go to town on it and do like I did. And just, you can take your, believe it or not, you can go right here, take your burn tool, right? And you can see where I've done this. Go right to the highlights and just dull these right out. You can see, you'll actually be able to dull out some of these things. Now, I've only got that, I got it right there. And you can start to see it's dulling it out. And you can actually get more individual, you know, shapes, and you can see them a little bit better now. And then when you have a look, you can see the way, especially this area right here. I'm going to go ahead and, well, hold on. Computer's lagging a little bit on me. That's okay. You can see right in this area, in fact, I can just circle it right there. That right there, my God, these things look like clustered together structures. I mean, that's the only way to say it. So you guys tell me, have at it, have a look at it, and just tell me what you find. So just to go back over it, and you can see this was, you know, the wide-angle instrument, the MDIS, messenger, of course, the spacecraft, and of course they go by Sol as well on Mercury, because basically it means Sunday. And I don't mean literally Sunday, but a sun day. And this will tell you the coordinates and, you know, how many pixels, I mean meters per pixel, so on and so forth. And so, I mean, guys, tell me what you think. Do you think it's nothing more than just, you know, geological shapes and forms? Like I said, in my mind, I don't see it. I see it as intelligently made, but you guys can give me your take on it and let me know what you think. Now, with that being said, I also have one coming up. Let me see if I can find this, because I'm not sure. I got one on the ExoMars that I believe it was Russia as well as ESA, or ESA, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Just got their first high-def photos back, and I think what you're going to find in is very interesting, to say the least. Again, you just have to look through the BS that they're throwing over these photos, and even if they're not throwing anything over the photos, any particular ones, you'll find that a lot of these, they're very vague. You can't see them. I don't know if it's because they just purposely back out so you can't see any real detail, but you can. If you really look for the stuff, you'll find it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys go for now. I'm going to let you rock and roll. And like I said, I've got more coming up of the moon. I've got, like I said, that one about ExoMars coming up. I've got a whole ton of videos coming up. In fact, I got a whole bunch of them in Photoshop. I just got to get rocking here and make videos on it. You know, I'm actually going for my license, being a ham operator. I've had this. I've you know, tested myself many times. You know, long, probably about, I'm going to guess, probably like 10 years ago. And just life got in the way, and it just put it on the back burner. But we're going to go for it. This time around. We're actually going to get our ham radio license. In fact, I'm going to have a buddy of mine come over tomorrow. We're going to throw this antenna up on the house, and we're going to rock and roll. And if we're lucky and I can record this, I'm actually going to record the ISS for you guys, so you guys can also hear this too. Seeing the ISS is so fake. But anyway, guys, that's another story in itself, and we're not even going to get into that. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Always appreciated, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video.